Amanpour, next on CNN.
Breaking news at CNN, and allow me to recap for you. Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey, has become the latest in the Republican candidates for the nomination for president of the party to suspend his campaign and basically quit the race. It was a disappointing finish in New Hampshire, and a source close to the campaign has now confirmed to CNN that he is suspending and giving up his race. Christie made the announcement on a call with his campaign. He had staked great hopes in doing better in New Hampshire, and you'll remember in the last debate had a fierce, searing battle with Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, which seems to have been a scorched earth policy for both candidates. Rubio finished down in New Hampshire, and Christie also finished sharply lower than he had hoped. Recognizing that, Chris Christie has suspended his campaign and is now out of the race. Also, of course, today, Carly Fiorina, the former CEO of HP, Hewlett-Packard, she also suspended her campaign, recognizing the inevitability that the votes just weren't there. The candidates have gone. Ukraine is once again staring into the abyss as the International Monetary Fund says its $17.5 billion bailout fund will collapse unless the country gets serious about stamping out corruption. The fund's managing director, Christine Lagarde, has said, without any doubt and without invigorate governance reforms and the fight for corruption, it is hard to see how the IMF-supported program can continue. It's the IMF's harshest warning yet to Ukraine's leaders. CNN's Claire Sebastian has the story.
The aftermath of a deadly bus explosion in eastern Ukraine Wednesday. The country's ongoing civil war, a violent backdrop for another crisis that's threatening its future.
The two wars that Ukraine now is facing is the war on the Eastern Front, but also a bigger war it is also facing is the war on corruption. The corruption that's eating away the cancer at the economy. And, Kyiv can do much more and quicker, tangible results to show that it's fighting the war on corruption.
The war on corruption matters to Andy Hunder. His job as head of the American Chamber of Commerce in Kiev is to advocate for a better business environment in Ukraine. Just like the IMF, he believes Kiev is not doing enough, and it's splintering an already fractured government.
It's a crisis of trust. It's a crisis of values.
A key reformer, the economy minister, resigning last week. He said his efforts to push through economic reforms were being stifled by corruption.
I think we are in a pretty difficult situation, yet I believed a week ago, and I still believe now, that we are either 2 steps away from a breakthrough or 2 steps away from a breakdown.
Ukraine can't afford not to tackle corruption. In December, Kiev defaulted on a $3 billion loan from Russia. Moscow has now threatened legal action. The World Bank estimated Ukraine's economy shrank by 12% in 2015, and the currency has fallen around 8% against the dollar this year alone.
In 2016, we feel that we've hit rock bottom. We're at rock bottom now, so we're forecasting at least 1.5% GDP growth in 2016, and this could be a rebound.
For a government where brawls in parliament have become commonplace, any rebound will require unity. The next steps, a rumoured cabinet reshuffle and a possible no-confidence vote later this month. Claire Sebastian, CNN.
Now, as we continue tonight, more from Make, Create, Innovate. It's Christie's Business.
Developed an engine that could propel an aeroplane from London to Sydney in 4 hours, but also a similar aeroplane could propel you into space and back again.
I'm from England.
Richard Barville is an engineer. He spent his entire career designing rocket and jet engines.
So the idea behind Sabre is to integrate an air-breathing engine with a rocket engine. So the first thing we need to do is we need to have a means of capturing the air, which is this intake here, which has a system of shock waves in it that slows the air down. The air gets hot in the process. It's now at 1,000 degrees centigrade when the vehicle's travelling at Mach 5. The air then flows radially through this large cylindrical drum structure and gets cooled down to about minus 150 on the inside, then flows into the rocket combustion chambers where it means the hydrogen is burnt and expanded out the back of the engine.
Milgauss.